The New Hampshire housing market continues to be extremely resilient going into 2023, but we are starting to see some external factors affect us a little bit. I'm Orion Moquin. I'm the founder of First Hill Realty Group, and this is your market update for June of 2023. In this video, I'm going to go through the data from last month, from May of 2023, for statewide data, go into Strafford and Rockingham counties in a little bit more depth. I'm going to give some context to the data, and then give you some feelings of what I've seen on the ground and maybe a couple of tips for buyers and sellers. So let's jump right in. So for May of 2023, this is kind of the quick snapshot right here. 22% reduction in closed sales, 19% reduction in sales volume, and 1.1 increase in median sales price for single family homes. So this is a continuation of what we've been seeing this year. Fewer places sold, fewer places on the market, still climbing in price, but here's the context on this that many people aren't mentioning right now. For the first time in a while, we're seeing that the increase in median sales price is not keeping pace with inflation. So while the number on the sales price may be higher, the value to the dollar is a little bit lower than it was previously. Something interesting to keep in mind. Let's look at some more information right here. So this is for single family properties in New Hampshire. Now let's give the context right here. So this bar right here is for May of 2022, just that month. This is for May of 2023. Over here, this is year to date through May of 2022 and through May of 2023. So you can kind of see there's a little bit of a comparison to be had there. Similar information all the way through. So closed sales, that's the number of properties sold statewide for single family, less than 1,000 last month. Pretty crazy to see. Median sales price still ticking up, only $5,000 more, ever so slightly, but we are sitting at $465, if you can believe that. Volume of closed sales, so this is described in millions of dollars right here, so $656 million versus 529, right? Similar in terms of percentages, comparing them. This is an interesting one. Days on market has ticked up from 16 to 26. So obviously the percentage is a little bit more dramatic than the days. What we're seeing with this, it's my belief anyways, just to add some context, people who are pricing their properties unrealistically are having a harder time now. Or if they're not positioned correctly, if they're not quite ready to go to market. You could get away with it a lot easier in 2021 and early 2022. A little bit more difficult now. Number of pending sales, similar reductions. Month supply, we're up to 1.4. For context, anything under 6 months is generally considered a buyer's market. Under 6 months is considered a seller's market. Over 6 months is considered a buyer's market. So if anybody is telling you that it's a buyer's market right now, let's go ahead and look at this number right here. In terms of new listings, again, down 18%, 20% year to date. So there's substantially fewer homes for sale. And this is the reoccurring theme, and we'll get into it for context a little bit later, but this is the part that's making things difficult right now. Percentage of list price received. So you can see it's come down, but this is the important piece. Even year to date, it has come down, but we're looking at still above asking price on average. That's important to note. Affordability index. Now this is the tough one. This is the one I like to hit every single one of these videos we do. Affordability, the affordability index, is a number that describes, so just for an example, if the affordability index is 100, that means the median household income in the state of New Hampshire is 100% of what's necessary to qualify for a mortgage on the median priced home. Right now, we're sitting at 66 for single family homes, which is an all-time low. That means if you make the median household income, that's only 66% of what's necessary to qualify for a median priced home. So the difficulty in getting into the market right now and the affordability concerns are really highlighted with this number. Let's go down. Pardon my quick scrolling here. All right, just some county comparison information here. Looking at median sales price, and I actually didn't look through this yet. See, Merrimack County's down 5.4%. Interesting. Just some interesting things to note on this. but up 5% for the year. So Strafford and Rockingham counties are the counties that I primarily deal in. So we're going to go into a little bit more depth on these right now. So again, this is the same layout column wise. It just looks a little bit different, but this is the month of May 2022 and 2023. This is year to date through May of 2022 and 2023. So just at a glance, I'm not going to go through every single one of these line items, but you can see it's very similar to what we were seeing before. Strafford County's up a little bit more in terms of sales price, but it's still not quite keeping pace with inflation. And let's see, days on market has ticked up. Month supply of inventory is holding steady. New listings are down. It's a pretty similar story, and it lines up with what we've been seeing on the ground. Let's take a look at Rockingham County. There was an interesting one on this. So for May of this year, median sales price is actually down 1.3%. So a tiny bit of a dip, $7,500, 592.5 versus 585. And very similar data other than that. This, I'm willing to bet if we looked at everything that was sold, there was more starter homes, smaller homes, for example, that were sold in the month of May this year versus last year, and that may have affected the median sales price, because the median sales price is consistent, and we can use that to measure things as long as the breakdown of which percentage of which price point properties remains the same. So for example, if in a month we have a substantially higher number of luxury properties sell, the median sales price is going to tick up, but that's not representative of what the market's actually doing. Looking through this, it's the same information. It's the same thing we've been seeing. I mean, we're down 20% in closed sales. See, new listings down 19.2%. So 1 in 5 listings that would have been there last year are not. That's an interesting thing to think about. Additionally, the inflation numbers we've looked at. So the fact that the median sales price is not keeping pace with inflation anymore. So what does all this mean? Well, here's the overview of what we've been seeing with our clients on the ground. If you are looking to sell right now, or if you're looking to buy right now. So for buyers, right, we'll start there. There's a lot of people still looking. We have many clients who have been priced out just because of mortgage rates and affordability. Obviously sales price affects affordability, not quite as much as mortgage rates. It's a much different story when we were looking at 3.5% interest rates versus 7%, right? Completely different ballgame in terms of your monthly payment for the same home. For sellers right now, they're finding they need to position a little bit better, make sure their marketing's a little bit more on point. And I've been talking about this all year. If you've been watching these videos, it's just getting a little bit more exaggerated as time goes on. You can really see the trend of which direction we're going. So if you're looking to buy right now, I'll just keep it to one piece of advice for both of these. If you're looking to buy, the most important thing you can possibly do is speak to a mortgage lender as soon as possible, at way farther out. Even if you're thinking about buying next year, have a conversation now, because there are always things you can do to make life easier for your future self, right? If you take the time now, if you're a year out, or even if you're 3 months out and you take the time right now, you'll get that time back with interest every single time. If you're thinking about selling, it is absolutely critical that you take the time to position your property appropriately. What that means is any small repairs, any small changes that can be made that will have a high return, curb appeal, for example, and making sure that the marketing that's going to be done on your property is absolutely top notch. It realistically didn't matter quite as much in 2021 and early 2022. It's mattering a lot more now, right? It's very, very critical that you're the best game in town. In general, with the housing market in New Hampshire, and now I'm going to go into speculation, right? And the first one to say, if you've spoken with me about this before, you'll know the line I always say, which is, I don't trust anyone who says they know what's going to happen farther than a week from now, any farther than I can throw them, because it's just speculation. Looking at what we've been seeing the past few years, it doesn't seem like things are going to get dramatically better anytime soon. They may get a bit better. Mortgage rates could come down 1%, something like that. But the tricky part with New Hampshire is we have a lot of good jobs around here. And unless the labor market locally falls apart, people are not going to lose their homes, which is a good thing for sure. But it means there's not going to be any sort of flood of inventory onto the market. And this very well may be a new normal that we're experiencing right now. It all started in 2020 with COVID, but we're still feeling the effects of it right now for sure. There's a dramatic housing shortage in America, but also in the state of New Hampshire for sure. So that's pretty much our update for this month. If you have questions, if there's something you want me to cover more in depth, please leave a comment, send me a message. I would be happy to answer every single question you have. And if there's any feedback in general for the video, I'm always looking to make it better, make it more informative. So please leave a comment, send me a message, and I will see you all next month. Take care.